I've been seeing a lot of people doing these 100-day challenges in games like Minecraft and Terraria, and I figured I'd throw my hat into the ring and do my own 100-day challenge. The only question was, what game to play? And in the end, I decided to play one of the most extreme, high-octane games of all time, Stardew Valley. There will be many hurdles to overcome going forward, so let's not delay any longer and descend into the verdant wilds and treacherous caverns of Stardew Valley. I began my first day by clearing some space for the crop I would soon cultivate, then carved a path down to the south where I foraged around the lake. I ended up rummaging through the trash like a dirty raccoon and found 2 Joja-Colas, and I decided to sell my parsnip seeds for potatoes so I would have a full potato crop. When I got home, I planted the potatoes and called it a day. On day 2, I watered my crops and got the first fishing rod from Willie, and found more Joja-Cola and bread in the trash. Who's throwing this stuff out, man? I proceeded to fish all day, filling up my inventory multiple times. I ended up making $950 from fishing and got to fishing level 1. It rained on day 3, so I didn't really have to water my crops, so I fished pretty much the whole day, and ended up catching 2 eels. Then I chopped down a couple trees before going to bed, and ended up getting to fishing level 2 and also making $968 from fishing. On day 4, it wasn't raining, so I had to water my crops once again. Then, once again, I spent all day fishing, this time at the mountain lake. All that fishing resulted in me getting to fishing level 3 and earning $1,300. Luckily, it was once again raining on day 5, so no watering today. Willie was now selling the fiberglass rod because I was now a high enough fishing level, so I went to the beach and bought the fiberglass rod. But I realized I left the bait for it at home, unfortunately. So I went back home, got the bait, so I could start fishing a lot faster. This was a lucky day. I got 2 iridium quality sardines and 1 anchovy, along with all the other standard fish. I also got to level 4 fishing and managed to make $1,000. After watering the crops on day 6, I decided that today I would begin my adventure into the mines that opened up yesterday. So I traveled there, got my starter sword, and I got really lucky with the ladder spawns and made it an incredible, monumental, and unfathomable 10 levels in. It was getting kind of late and I was out of energy, so I took my leather boots and went home. Pretty uneventful, honestly. On day 7, my potato crop was finally finished, so I harvested it and threw it all in the bin. I then spent all day fishing and caught many iridium quality fish. Altogether, I made over $5,000 in this one day and got to fishing level 5. Pretty neat. Day 8 was another uneventful day of fishing, but on day 9, I once again descended into the mines, making it to floor 20, fighting through a bug floor on the way. And in the end, I made it to level 1 combat. So that was pretty cool. Days 10 and 11 were mostly just fishing, but some interesting things that happened on day 11 was that I found an ancient seed artifact, which would be very useful in the future, and I got to fishing level 7, so looks like all that fishing is paying off. Lovely. Other than donating the ancient seed artifact to the museum, all I really did on day 12 was fish. It was all I was ever doing, because of how profitable it was for me. But as I was soon to learn, spending all my time fishing was leaving me woefully unprepared for what was to come. Day 13 was the Egg Festival, my day of dread. I made 2 major mistakes on this day, one of which ended up costing a lot of time and energy all throughout spring. Let's talk about my second mistake first, because it was far less severe. I hadn't remembered or bothered to look up where the eggs were in the Egg Festival, which in the end ended up costing me the victory. This mistake was a huge blow to my pride and ego, but my first mistake was far more devastating. I had bought too many strawberries, 150 to be exact. I wanted as many strawberries as possible to make as much money as possible. The only problem was I didn't have the energy or equipment to efficiently water them all, which caused crop watering to consume all of my time. At the end, I did manage to plant all of my strawberries, but not without passing out. On day 14, I had to begin the arduous task of watering my massive strawberry crop, and while I was able to do it, it took a long time and I had to eat food to do it because of my energy deficit. It was at this point I realized how difficult a task watering this strawberry crop would be, so I decided to forage around the map for extra food to prepare myself for the many days to come. After watering my strawberries for a second day in a row, a looming sense of dread began to settle in, and I realized that this would be my life until the end of spring. I would never have time to upgrade my watering can because I would always have to water. I was trapped. But then, out of nowhere, I was saved. Spring's berry season had begun and salmon berries were in full bloom. Salmon berry season would provide me with enough energy to water the strawberry crop without any worry or delay. And it looked like, at least for the time being, I was in the clear. So yeah, for the time being, things were okay, and from days 16 to 20, the main things I did were water my crops and occasionally forage for salmon berries or other forageables to keep my energy up. On day 21, I didn't have to water the strawberries because it was raining, so I decided to make a trip into the mines. First, I made it to level 30, where you transition into the second stage of the mines, this weird, darker cave. Then I managed to get to level 40, where you transition into this frozen cave area, where I finally started to excavate some iron. Lovely. By the end of the day, I managed to get to level 45. All in all, pretty productive day. Day 22 was a very momentous day because all my hard work was about to pay dividends. That's right, it was the day of the first strawberry harvest, and I took great pleasure in picking every single one. In total, the harvest earned $20,000, I almost said 2,000, and boosted me all the way up to farming level 5. So yeah, pretty frickin' profitable. On day 23, I decided to spend practically all the money I made because I make really bad financial decisions. I bought the copper pickaxe upgrade, which will take a few days to be completed. I bought the final backpack upgrade, which unlocks the last row in my inventory. And I bought the new iridium fishing rod that I unlocked, and spent pretty much all day using it. So that was fun. Day 24 was pretty uneventful. I watered my crops, and instead of going to the flower dance, which was today, I elected to stay home like an antisocial hermit. It was now day 25, and I was 1/4 of the way through these 100 days, just in case you don't know how to do first grade math. I started the day by picking up my now complete copper pickaxe, then cracked open a bunch of geodes at the blacksmith, who is now available. And I donated all the contents of the geodes to the museum, for which I was rewarded with a starfruit seed, which will become very useful in summer. I was going to give Jody my cauliflower that I cultivated to complete that quest, but I instead ate it right in front of her like a douchebag. So, yay me. Day 26 was a great day indeed. It was my second strawberry harvest, and it ended up making me $22,000. I also made another trip into the mines today, where I got past floor 50 and all the way to floor 55. I even had to fight through an infested floor to do it, and in the end, I ended up leveling up a bunch of stuff. I mean, come on, look at all that stuff. On day 27, I wanted to go mining again, but there was another really dangerous infested floor that I just wasn't prepared for. So instead, I decided to go gather wood to repair the bridge to the other side of the beach, which I, for some reason, didn't do up to this point. Like, seriously, most people end up doing this by the end of their first week, but not me. I waited till practically the end of spring to do this. What the hell? Wait a minute. I still couldn't do it today? What? I'm watching the footage back, and I actually don't end up doing it today. I literally repair the bridge on the last day of spring. Wow, I am bad at this game. A Stardew Valley year consists of 4 seasons, each containing 28 days. I don't know why, I don't know if Stardew Valley is on some alien planet or something, but that's just how it is. Meaning that day 28, aka today, is the end of spring. I spent my final day of spring doing a few things. Firstly, I repaired the stupid bridge by the beach, which I should have repaired a long time ago. Then I made a decision which would decide the course of these 100 days. I bought a Joja membership, meaning that the major unlocks would be acquired through monetary purchases. This is basically the capitalist route, so it's right up my alley. I then spent the little remainder of spring doing what I had done so many days prior: fishing. Day 29 was the beginning of summer, and I wanted to start off this season right. So instead of going absolutely crazy on the crops, I had a little bit of restraint and decided to only buy 100 blueberry seeds, so crop watering wouldn't consume all of my time. But that wasn't the only thing I did today. I did something that I had been preparing for a long time now. I caught a fish. But not just any fish. I caught one of the 5 legendary fish. I caught the legendary fish of summer on the first day. The legendary fish of summer, aka the crimson fish, can be found on the right side of the beach, which I just unlocked yesterday. But I wouldn't suggest attempting it unless you're prepared, because it will put up a fight. I ended up losing the fish twice before I was able to get it. It moves incredibly quickly and is very erratic. The fish bested me twice, but in the end I was able to catch it. So I was able to sleep tight knowing that I had bested one of summer's greatest challenges on the first day. On day 30, after watering my crops, I went to the blacksmith to purchase the steel pickaxe upgrade so I could delve deeper into the mines. Then, since I had so much free time, I decided to once again go fishing. I caught 2 pufferfish and got a dinosaur egg from a treasure chest, so yeah, pretty good find. Day 31 was once again spent fishing, and I also donated a few artifacts to the museum, and for my efforts, I was rewarded with absolutely useless furniture. Thanks, Gunther. Day 32, my new steel pickaxe was ready, so I once again journeyed into the mines. I first got to floor 60, where I was rewarded with a new weapon and fishing pond, so that was pretty neat. Then I got to floor 65, where I had to call it a night, unfortunately, but still pretty good progress. Days 33 through 35 were a combination of mining, fishing, and clearing the farm. Nothing really came out of any of it, so we don't need to go into detail here. After watering my crops on day 36, I spent all day chopping trees and clearing out the field, and on day 37, I did the exact same thing. So you're probably wondering why I spent so much time clearing the field of trees, rocks, and grass, and really, I don't know why. I think I did it because I was just bored. On day 38, I decided to once again adventure into the mines where I collected loads of iron that would help us out later on. And by the end of my mining expedition, I made it to floor 80, where I acquired much better boots. From floors 80 and below is where gold is most commonly found, so that should open up some new opportunities for upgrading my equipment. No clue what happened on day 39, but on day 40 I attempted a mining expedition with the hopes of getting to at least floor 90. As I descended into this new part of the mines, I began excavating my first gold deposits. I managed to get to floor 85, but when I got there I got incredibly unlucky with my ladder spawns. I wasted 3 in-game hours looking for the ladder, and I used pretty much all my food to do it. I ate a strange bun, hoping it would give me enough energy to get to floor 90, but alas, it was to no avail. I came to terms with the fact that I was only making 5 floors of progress and went home. All the mining I was doing had netted me a bunch of geodes, so on day 41 I headed to the blacksmith and had them all cracked open, which got me a few artifacts to donate to the museum. So, would you like to guess what I was rewarded with for donating these precious artifacts? That's right, useless goddamn furniture. On day 42, the starfruit, ancient fruit, and all the blueberries I had planted were now ready to be harvested. And harvest I did without hesitation, eager to see how much money it would make me. I also went to the blacksmith to purchase the gold pickaxe upgrade, which ended up costing me $10,000, aka all of my money, meaning I was poor. But that's okay, because the crop harvest that I had sold earlier today made nearly twice that amount back. On day 43, I wanted to once again delve deeper into the mines, but since my pickaxe was with the blacksmith, after watering my crops, I just spent all day fishing. On day 44, I got my new and improved golden pickaxe and ventured into the mines, hoping to reach floor 100. And even though I was very unlucky last time, and I had 15 floors I needed to traverse, I managed to make it. I got the obsidian edge at level 90, which helped to push all the way to floor 100 by 12 AM. And I got my first star drop. My mind is filled with thoughts of views. Maximum energy level increased. For day 45, I continued to crack geodes and donate their contents to the museum. And I also bought the copper axe upgrade so I could soon begin clearing the larger tree stumps from my property. On day 46, I made another journey into the mines. I made it to floor 110, but got knocked out by an enemy before I could get to the checkpoint on floor 115. It was really dumb because I even had food on my hotbar, but just didn't eat it before the fight because I think I have brain damage. Whatever, this caused me to lose 7 grand and a load of items, unfortunately. But it's fine, I made 17 grand back from potatoes, so all is well. Day 47 was a very special day, because today I was determined to reach the bottom of the mines. This is what I've been training for 46 days now. This is the climactic event all my actions were leading up to. It would be incredibly difficult, but it would be my greatest accomplishment in the game so far. Oh, never mind, it was actually really easy and doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Oh, but it did reward me with the skull key, so that'll be cool when I unlock the fucking desert! On day 48, I got the copper axe and used it to spend some time clearing out the field. And on day 49, I spent the morning mining from floors 105 and below, then followed it up by cracking some geodes open. They didn't give me any new artifacts to donate to the museum, but it did get me enough iridium ore to smelt my first iridium bar. Day 50. I was now halfway through my 100 days. I began the day by harvesting, watering, and subsequently selling my blueberries. While the progress I was making wasn't awful, I wanted to accomplish as much as I could in these 100 days. So I made a decision that would lay the base foundations for my plan on this farm. I decided to buy the greenhouse repair, which cost me 35 grand, aka all of my money, meaning I'm poor again. But it's okay, my blueberries made back 17 grand, so I'm no longer poor. On day 51, I initiated my plan with my newly repaired greenhouse. My plan was basically just to fill it with sprinklers, plant more blueberries in it, while I gradually replaced the blueberries with ancient fruit once I got a seed maker, essentially generating passive income while also growing my ancient fruit supply. After watering my crops on day 52, I spent practically all day fishing, which got me to fishing level 9. Then on day 53 it was raining, so I spent some time in the mines mining iron, which didn't level me up in mining, but that time in the mines did level me up to level 5 combat. On day 54 my blueberries were once again ready to be harvested. Today I also cracked open some geodes and bought the steel axe upgrade so I could soon get access to the forest. And while I'm sure you're tired of hearing about how much my blueberries made, one thing I'm sure you haven't heard me say is that I got to level 9 farming, which unlocks the seed maker I've been looking forward to. For day 55, I made another ancient seed with my new seed maker, and that's really the only important thing that happened today. I mean, I did partake in one of the most engaging and enthralling activities in this game, fishing. But to be fair, you have to have a relatively high IQ to under. Day 56 was the last day of summer. Now, I was not only more than 50% of the way through, but I had now almost completed 2 of the game's 4 seasons. I began the day throwing my newest ancient fruit into the seed maker, and it ended up spitting out 3 seeds, which was pretty lucky. Then, for some reason, I bought a coop that I'm probably never going to use. I really don't know why I did this. Then I picked up my new steel axe and opened the way to the forest, where I collected some hardwood, don't laugh. Then I bought a rare seed from the traveling merchant and planted it in the greenhouse. It was now the first day of fall on day 57, and there was only one thing on my mind. That's right, the legendary fish that can be caught in fall, aka the angler. It can be caught north of Jojamart by the plank bridge over the river. I approached the bridge with trepidation, fearing how difficult it may be to catch this fish. And then, when my fishing line got a tug, and I hooked the angler, I caught it on the first try. It was super easy. I have no idea why this fish is all the way at fall when it should be at the beginning of the game. On day 58, I decided to go to the mines, and on the way there I found a prehistoric skull that I didn't have time to donate today. But I did end up getting loads of iron that I was starting to run short on, so that was pretty good. And on day 59, I got a steel watering can that I had the blacksmith working on, and then immediately bought the gold axe upgrade. In hindsight, it probably would have been smarter to get the gold watering can to speed up my mornings that I spend watering crops, but whatever. I then donated the prehistoric skull I found yesterday to the museum. On day 60, I mined around floor 110 and got to mining level 7. Other than that, nothing that eventful happened. On day 64, I picked up the golden axe, and from days 61 to 64, I used it to fully clear out the field for no reason whatsoever. I don't know why I did. One other tidbit is that on day 64, the blueberries in the greenhouse had matured and were ready for their first harvest, so that made me a bunch of money too. Okay, you know how I said on day 59 I should have bought the gold watering can upgrade? Well, today, after cracking some geodes and finding some pretty mediocre stuff, I did. Also, I cut the grass. I don't know why this is important enough to be included in the video, but here it is. I cut the grass. Look, I cut the goddamn grass! I'm pretty sure I just bummed around on day 66, but on day 67, there was a new goal in my sights. Since I was only doing 100 days for this video, that meant that each season would only be seen once. Unless this video is successful enough to justify a follow-up, but that's besides the point. I still wanted to accomplish as much as possible in these 100 days. And since winter has no mega crop you can grow, if I wanted one, fall would be my last chance to get it. If this video gets part 2, I'll be sure to make a mega cauliflower and mega melons, but for the time being, if I wanted a mega crop, I would have to settle for a pumpkin. In order to ensure that I got a mega crop, I would need to plant as many as I could, so I spent my entire 14 grand on pumpkin seeds, getting me a grand total of 143 seeds. Yeah, pumpkin seeds are pretty expensive. By around 5 p.m. I managed to till, plant, and water all the pumpkins. Pumpkins take 13 days to grow until they are harvestable, and these were planted on the 11th of fall, so they would reach maturity by day 24. So there would be a solid 4 days for one to become a mega crop. Since for one to form, you only need to have a 3x3 grid of pumpkins, and I had a 14x14. So now that most of the work was done, all I could do was hope. Other than picking my blueberries and going fishing on day 68, I realized that the fall festival was coming up soon, and I hadn't collected enough valuable items to display for the festival. In the end, I decided to use fish for my display because they would be the easiest high-quality items for me to acquire. And by the end of the day, I had an iridium quality sardine, anchovy, tilapia, and sea cucumber, meaning I had 5 more items I needed to collect for the festival. After watering my pumpkins on day 69, I did some mining, and it was probably the least successful mining expedition I'd ever been on because I found very little ore. Oh, also, if you were expecting a joke about it being day 69, then congrats, you know me very well, but too bad you're not getting one. Look, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what happened on days 70 and 71. I think I went mining again or something, then got knocked out in the mines, then cried myself to sleep. So I guess I did know what happened. Whatever, on to something else. Just cut to the next part of the video here. Day 72. It was now the day of the festival. And for my display, I had procured a gold star red snapper, a gold star salmon, a gold star shad, a gold star walleye, my gold star crimson fish, a purple star anchovy, yes, I'm gonna list them all, a purple star tilapia, a purple star sardine, and a purple star sea cucumber. Whether or not these items were good enough didn't matter. They were the best I could acquire in the little time I did. And so I went to the festival, placed my items onto the display, and hoped. It was now time for Lewis's judging, and after it was over, I approached Lewis with great trepidation, and the answer I got from him truly shocked me. Another festival visited and another competition failed. I only got 500 star points for second place, and I had to fish and gamble for the rest of them. Luckily, the gambling wheel is very exploitable, having a 75% chance of landing on green. So, soaked in bitterness and contempt, I bought my Rare Crow, Incel Fedora, and Star Drop and left to return home. I didn't even say goodbye to anybody. All I had to quell my anger was my ever-increasing riches. After the last couple days of failure, I really needed a win, so after watering my crops and cracking some geodes on day 73, I bought the bus repair so I could soon go to the desert and begin my iridium excavation efforts. And when the bus was repaired on day 74, I did just that. I took the bus to the desert, which cost $500 round trip, and entered the Skull Cavern. It was quite treacherous. I ran into many of those flying green fuckers, and I had to use a lot of stone on staircases. In the end, I made it to floor 45, where there was iridium, but I was so low on health, energy, and food that I had to flee before I could gather most of it. I only got 2 iridium ore from that, which is not even enough for a single bar, so I decided I would return when I was slightly more prepared. Day 75. I was now 3/4 of the way through, and today I would end up cracking some geodes, donating the artifacts I found from them to the museum, and doing some foraging in the woods. I also made some bombs in preparation for my next trip into Skull Cavern. On day 76, I went back into Skull Cavern with some of my blueberries as food, which was probably a bad decision. I only ended up making it to floor 24, I think, but that's not what's important. I ended up getting enough iridium for 3 bars this time, and also, one of the iridium veins dropped a precious prismatic shard, and when it did, I left as soon as I could to make sure I didn't lose it, as I could now use it to get the Galaxy Sword. One of the most powerful weapons in the whole game was now mine. Oh, and also I hit level 8 mining, which unlocks mega bombs, so that's cool too, I guess. On day 77, I had enough iridium to upgrade an item, so after cracking some geodes, I decided to upgrade to an iridium pickaxe. Also, I don't know if this changed in a recent patch, but I tried to give the dinosaur fossil the solar essence for the star drop, but it wouldn't let me. Do I need the hint note thing in order to do this, or am I just missing something? On day 78, I made some lightning rods so that I could start to get some batteries, and then just spent the whole day looking for artifacts. And on day 79, I didn't have enough food for another adventure into Skull Caverns, so I decided to test out my new iridium pickaxe on the old mines. On day 80, my pumpkins that I had planted 13 days prior had fully grown, and I was lucky enough to get a mega pumpkin. I was truly overjoyed. I was also happy about hitting level 10 farming, but by far, the greatest event that happened today was the return on my pumpkins. Along with the blueberries I also sold today, I ended up making over 70 grand, which would be enough funds to fuel many a business venture indeed. Since I earned so much money yesterday, on day 81 I decided to purchase a few things that would help me in the future. I got the copper hoe and soon intended to upgrade it again. I paid for the bridge repair from Joja, and I did something that would severely improve my transportation ability in the future. I bought a goddamn horse stable. On day 82, I went over the newly repaired bridge to the quarry and found a weird cave I've never seen before, with weird enemies I've never seen before. And at the end of it, I got a golden scythe whose function I can't discern. Like, seriously, it's just a cooler looking scythe? I don't know. Day 83 is the Spirits Eve Festival, aka Halloween. There, I got a Rare Crow and the Golden Pumpkin, which you can sell, but I usually decide to keep as a treasure. I also found it kinda weird that there's not as much to do at this festival as in the other ones, but in any case, this is the last day of fall, so we will be transitioning into the final season of these 100 days. On day 84, I bought both the iridium watering can upgrade and the house upgrade, which adds a kitchen that I'll probably never use. But I realized something very important today, that I had 59 artifacts donated to the museum, meaning I would only need one more artifact for Gunther to give me the key to the sewers. Also, yeah, I know in the last bit I accidentally said the Spirit's Eve was the last day of fall, and the last day of fall is actually today, but I'm not re-recording that. Fuck you. Day 85 was the first day of winter, and I think you know what that means. I needed to catch winter's legendary fish. I needed to catch the glacier fish. It can be caught on the lowest part of this island in the lake south of the farm. And on this day, I had many encounters with the glacier fish. I fished it at this one spot all day, not even moving, but I couldn't do it. In fall, the angler fish was pretty easy. In summer, the crimson fish put up a fight, but I still caught him on my second try on the first day. But I encountered the glacier fish again and again all day. I almost got him a few times, but it seemed for every slight amount of progress I made on the fishing bar, the glacier fish would win twice that amount back. And then at 7 p.m., it broke me. Unable to continue the fight, I went home. I did make a measly 1,000 from the fish I was able to catch, but deep down, I knew this day was wasted. In this game, time is the most valuable thing you have, and this fish had just stolen a whole day from me. I'm not proud of day 85. I feel like I really should have been able to catch the glacier fish, but I'm even less proud of day 86. On this day, I once again went south to attempt to catch the glacier fish. And on the first cast, the only cast I got the glacier fish on, I lost him in 4 seconds. I did do 2 more casts today, outright refusing to accept defeat. The second cast, I got a pretty simple fish. It was quite easy. But the third cast made me leave this lake and give up on the glacier fish. And well, I'll just play it for you here. I almost lost a really basic fish. I don't know why, but something about that fish shattered me, and well, I won't spoil how this ends. In this moment, when I left, I had no intent of ever returning. The only thing that made this day worthwhile was that I was now up to 60 items donated to the museum. On day 87, I got the rusty key which unlocks the sewers from Gunther for donating 60 items to the museum. Then I, of course, went to the sewers. So much rage had built up regarding the glacier fish that I was determined to catch the mutant carp. The mutant carp is the only legendary fish that can be caught independent of your season, and it can only be caught in the sewers. Fortunately, I was able to do it on the first try, so I was already feeling better. On day 88, I took another trip into Skull Caverns and then got knocked out on floor 7, so that was cool. On day 89, I picked up the upgraded steel hoe, then promptly bought the gold upgrade for it. And on day 90, I embarked on another adventure into Skull Caverns, where I gathered loads of iridium. I made it to floor 50-something, but then got knocked out by an enemy on an infested floor. Luckily, I didn't lose all the iridium I collected. And on day 91, I picked up my new golden hoe. Then, you guessed it, I immediately upgraded to the iridium hoe. Then I cracked open some geodes and donated their contents to the museum. Though, now that I had the rusty key, there was very little reason to do so, other than maybe getting the star drop from the museum on, like, day 500. After that, I spent the remainder of the day fishing, which brought me to level 10 fishing. On day 92, I went south, expecting to once again battle the glacier fish, because I was now level 10 fishing. But instead, a new obstacle was standing in my way. The fishing festival, or whatever it's called. Unless you count the nighttime market, this would be the last festival of the 100 days, and it was for fishing. This was the one thing I'd been preparing for practically the whole game. And on that day, I won, with a score of 6 fish. And for my efforts, I had won a sailor hat, among other fishing supplies. And with this victory under my belt, I rested in my bed knowing that tomorrow, I would catch the glacier fish. Day 93. It was time to catch the glacier fish. I donned my new sailor hat that I had won yesterday before heading south for what would be my final attempt at catching the glacier fish. I approached the lake and cast my line. At first, the glacier fish managed to get away, but then, with the help of a cork bobber, I managed to catch him while also reeling in a treasure. How about that? Other notable events that happened today were picking up my newly upgraded iridium hoe, which I ended up using all day on artifact spots. On day 94, I donated some of the artifacts I've found recently, but mainly just spent most of the day fishing. On day 95, I decided to upgrade to an iridium axe, which costs all of my money, meaning I'm poor again. But that's okay. On day 96, my blueberries made 13 grand back, which is almost as good as 25 grand. Kinda. I took a trip into Skull Caverns on day 97. It was actually a pretty good visit. I made it to floor 41, found a modicum of iridium, and found a new dino egg, so I can do stuff with that if this video ever gets to part 2. Oh, also I found this weird floor I've never seen before that had lots of vegetation. And fucking dinosaurs, what the hell? Okay, look, I know it's near the end of the video, it's day 98, so I wish I could tell you I did something cool on day 98, but I think I seriously just bummed around on this day. I guess I made some more ancient seeds to plant in the greenhouse, so that was cool, I guess. Day 99 was the first day of the nighttime market, and also the second to last day of the challenge, in case you didn't know how to count. I spent most of my time waiting for the nighttime market to open, fishing by the mountain lake. Not for any particular reason, it was just something to do. Then, when the market opened, the first thing I did was get my free coffee. I also saw this snowman rare crow that I decided to buy. But now for the real reason I came to the night market. I wanted to use the submarine to catch the deep-sea fish. They weren't legendary by any means, but they were quite rare, so I decided I wanted to catch them. And after the glacier fish, these ones were hardly a challenge. The midnight squid was incredibly easy, feeling like a tilapia or some other basic fish. The spookfish was slightly more sporadic, but still quite easy. The blobfish was actually kind of hard. I would say pufferfish are more difficult, and it's still nothing compared to the glacier fish, but it was formidable, I'll give it that. And with that, my day was done, and I had completed my last real goal for the challenge. Day 100. We're finally here. Day 100 was a very introspective day. I say this because it felt like a lot more was going on today, but watching the footage back, I don't actually do that much, and the reason this day felt a lot more eventful than it actually was because I was unpacking a lot of feelings about the challenge. Things like, could I have achieved more in the time I was given? Well, yes. But was I happy with the amount of progress I was able to achieve? Well, also yes. In the end, I was able to upgrade all my equipment to the iridium level, catch 4 of the 5 legendary fish, get a mega crop, and much more. The only question I thought about more was, what now? Well, there's still one more legendary fish to catch, more money to make, and more places to spend it. So I think if, or more likely when, I get around to making a part 2 to this, there'll still be plenty of things to do. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.
Hey, only a small percentage of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so subscribe. Bye.